Right here, right now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Oh, we are live. Here we go. Oh, we are live. Loving it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Huddle. And as you can see, Big Willie Style is not here. What happened there was apparently, he has not got internet. His Wi-Fi has went down, so he's a bit limited on what he has in regards to technology. So I'm apologies for that. I hope you're all well. I hope life is treating all you great. People, we have UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2 breakdown. It's going down in Florida with fans. We've got UFC fans in the stands. It's insane. We're going to have Bruce Buffett giving the goosebump time when he announces the main events or the title fights. Everything's going to be electric. Won't lie, when the crowd's there and they get up and they go crazy, it's going to be awesome. Let me just quickly post this out here, break it down. Here we go. Pow, pow, pow. UFC, boop, 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 261. Come join in. There we go. There we are. Look at that. Lovely stuff, folks. Here we go. Just breaking that down, adding that in, add that tweet, and away we go. Daniel Cormier's, mate, Daniel Cormier's scared of Jake Paul big time. Big hands, big power. What a joke that was, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Askren. He picked the guy with one of the best records, really, in MMA. If you look at Ben Askren's record and what he's accomplished, he's got a superb little CV on him. But the problem was he got on that accomplishment by one skill set, being a superb wrestler, and had no plan B. If he couldn't get out of plan B, he didn't know what else to do. He'd never strike and do now. For the sake of humanity, it was awful. And then we have this Super League thing going down in football, or if you're in America watching, this soccer thing all kicking off. So everything's going down at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of crazy to watch it. But look, that's me sort on that. Lovely stuff. Right, so as always, if you're tuning in and watching this, ladies and gentlemen, it's vitally important that you hit the subscribe button. Ben was robbed. I think he got robbed, bro. I think he didn't get knocked out, in my opinion. But yeah, if you're watching this at home or on your mobile phone, laptop, whatever, if you can just, even if you're at work and you're having a sneaky little listen, if you hit the like button, subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. It's always great to get new subscribers and get people in the community. I'm going to be breaking down the card shortly, the Masvidal and Usman card momentarily. I just want to, reach out with a little quick cheeky request to ask you all to submit and subscribe. It's got to be done. Otherwise, if you don't subscribe and you get on with it. Now, last week we had Whittaker versus Gastelum. I don't know how many of you all watched the fight card itself. Whittaker getting the W over Gastelum. Gastelum's in a tricky situation with his career. I think he needs to go down, certainly down the ranks and fight some of the guys in the top 20 kind of ranking area for Gastelum, get himself back up again. Arlovski getting another win. He's still staying relevant for himself at his age and his career. Al Hassan, absolutely awful. Cut him. He needs to give up fighting. I don't know what's happened since his time off from the sport. It was awful. But we saw a lot go on, a lot of split decisions, which were a bit questionable, let's say, and put it that way. But, that is what it is. And Moyes, how you doing, brother? I hope you're well. Yeah, Zhu Rong is a beast. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I saw that on social media about that. Yeah. Look, we're going to jump into 261. I'm going to start breaking it down now because it's a fantastic little cluster of fights. Let's go down. What I have here is the order from Tapology. So I may be wrong in the order I pronounce and say in the fights I call, but that's what I'm going to do with the Tapology order. You'll notice a lot of fighters on this card that you might not recognize, and that's because the UFC have their UFC Performance Institute in China, and they have their Chinese champion. So what they're doing is they're introducing some new names to the promotion on a pay-per-view card that wouldn't normally be on there. It's just because they'll obviously have the Asian market tuning in and watching. So it's just a marketing ploy to get these guys and girls on there and get their names out there. I'm not too keen on a few of them, but there's some that I think actually might not be too bad. And starting off, is, now forgive me for this, I am going to probably get this wrong. Liang is fighting Ariane and Carnelossi. Connelossi. Again, these names are going to absolutely wreck me. Yeah, Rong is the future for sure, but regardless of the outcome this weekend, he's 21 years old and someone to keep an eye on. He's 21 years old with about 600 fights under his belt. That's the thing, Kamara. I got to take into account that it was insane how many fights that kid had. I didn't realize, I just saw his age by accident. When I saw the fights, I just had to quickly do the maths. I was like, dude's like fighting 5 times a year almost, since 16, which is, man, that's crazy. But anyway, we're breaking this fight first. Before we jump to that, 115 pounds, 150 pound division, like I say. I looked a little bit at Liang, watched some of her fights on WLF. It is. She also fought a little while back against Agapova, which, she lost that fight. She got pretty dominated. Her ground game isn't the strongest when she's got someone on top of her. She looked pretty weak in that positioning myself. Liang round 1 sub. She's kill or be killed. She very much is, Moise. She is not the strongest, I feel, in fights. But if you look at the girl she's fighting, bro, that's one of the things that stood out to me more than anything. Her fight to get into the UFC, the opponent was 0-0. The fight before that was against a girl who was 2-0. Then before that was 2-2. I know you can only fight you got in front of you, but a lot of the girls she's fought that she's had the wins over, they're not really the strongest kind of records that make me go, she's got potential to do well here. The losses she had were against girls with a bit more experience, like Agapova, 5-0. Yan was 6-2. So she's got fights in there that she's lost against girls who are of a stronger, maybe more reputable kind of training camps, etc. She has improved. Yeah, she's been training at the UFC performance in Shanghai. The thing is, you've got to remember, Moise, they don't provide the coaching. What they do is, what the Performance Institute is, it's a place to train. I know they got Amma Singer there and stuff like that, but you, as a fighter, you bring your coach. If you're signed to the UFC, you bring your coaches with you. So, for example, when I was speaking to Brett Johns, he was saying that, he could book in to go there and train for, let's say, like 4 weeks. And what he would do is he'd bring him and his coaches, and his coach would be there, and they'd use the facilities. But it's not necessarily your coach. You're not getting the cluster of like Duke Rufus and Greg Jackson and all those Winkle Johns. And you're not getting all those guys in there and, for hours all training you. You're literally using their facilities, which is high spec. I'm not denying that. And it could help you absolutely with nutrition to help your body recover better, and your physique and your conditioning might improve big time. But from a skill set wise, she's fighting a girl in Carnelossi who is tough. That girl is tough. The Angela Hill fight was a cut, but overall, that girl is strong, comes forward, heavy hitter. She's got pretty good output. I think she's a stronger striker. We've not seen too much of a grappling aspect. I think that's something that Liang might try to maybe take advantage of, try and get her on the ground and try to go for submissions. I would do if I was Liang, I'd try to get the fight to the ground, but I don't think she will. I think strategically in this fight, you're going to see it going on the feet. And I think, I've got to be honest with you guys and girls, I forgot to mark the time down for this fight. I'm going to do the mark later. I'm going to write that. I've got a pen right here to make down the notes for the timestamps. And I missed the first fight because I'm an absolute turkey. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, I think that fight you're going to see Carnelossi I think she'll dominate the fight. I think she'll be more aggressive. She'll hit a lot more. She'll have a bit higher output. I'm just not sold on Liang only because of what I've seen and her opponent's abilities. I will get a better idea of her in this fight. She can come out in this fight and smoke Aori, but I just don't see it. That's only going off what I have, guys and girls. So, she could, but I'm not too sure. Next up, we have, let me quickly get a timestamp as well, because I can't be asked doing the timestamps afterwards. It's a pain in the hoop. So next up we have is in the 125 division. We have the flyweights kicking down. Okay, so we have, now I'm going to move this one again. It's another easy name to pronounce. It's Qileng Aori. Okay, he is fighting, or Mongolian Murderer as he's known, against Jeff Molina. Now, this one's a bit more of a closer bout, a closer contest. You've got experience as well in Aori's corner. He's like 24 fights. He's had quite a few contests, quite a few brawls, quite a few fights. So, it's going to be interesting to see. She's undefeated at 115. Hey, bro, she could do well. I'm not saying she couldn't. I just think that I want to see against tougher competition, which is going to be this. And I would get a better gauge then. There's some fighters that do that. When it comes to the UFC, it's hard to gauge them till you see what they can do in their cage. Rogue Strummer, great to see it. Mongolian Murderer. Yeah, pretty solid name. It's pretty good, bro, isn't it? Yeah, man. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, though. Qileng, Aori, Mongolian Murderer. It doesn't quite work, but it is what it is. You get that name, you have it. I've watched a guy in a couple of fights on WLF, the promotion was, what fights I could find. He obviously fought a while back against Kai France about 4 years ago, something like that, and lost that fight. So there's maybe something in him here with getting a chance here for Grigoriel Popov. So we fought a few names, so to speak, in the flyweight division. And again, the flyweight division isn't a division that's stacked. It's not a huge division. So, and Popov with his, he's lost 2 in the UFC. There's a chance he can maybe get a fight against him. They might match up in the future. You never know. Yeah, for me, when he fought on the, was it Dana White Contender Series, wasn't it? Yes, sorry. Jacob Silva. Thought it was a good contest, good back and forth contest. Watched him fight LFA, Chancey Wilson. That was not a bad contest between the two of them. Overall, I thought he's another one. Jeff Molina, who's fought pretty weak competition. If you look outside of what he's fought, outside the kind of before, so Contender Series 6-2, he fought Jacob Silva. Then he fought on FAC, where he got a guy who was 11-5. Before that, you had a guy who was 2-1 in LFA. Before that was a 9-17, 3-7, 0-1, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, and 3-0, where he lost on his debut. So again, you can only beat who's in front of you. But for me, you got to be a bit careful with some of these guys. I find that with Qileng, he's had wars. He's fought guys in the past who he's lost submissions. He's been decisions. He's been there. He's had great battles. He's lost fights that probably a bit more experience he would have taken the advantage of and got the wins. I think he might actually do well in this one. I think he's got a good pop in his hands. I think Jeff might have a bit of a tough time. If he can get the fight to the ground, Jeff, he might have an opportunity to get a bit of the grappling aspect, try and keep it down, get the clock running over. This is one where I think Jeff's going to have a tougher time in this fight. Honestly, I think he might be a bit surprised by what Qileng can do, or Qileng. I'm pronouncing it wrong, so apologies. But I'm actually going to go towards, for the decision, flyweight, pretty solid decision. Is kind of common one. So often you see the finishes rare, the more rare than they are in the heavyweight division. But I'm going to go with Qileng here. I think he can get this done, decision win. I think he's got the ability on the feet to really kind of make Jeff take notice of him, and I think can hurt him. I really do. Tonight's podcast is sponsored by Dr. Pepper Zero. I wish it was sponsored. I wish. Rogue Mecha Free Champ. And I don't know what that is, brother. What's Rogue Mecha Free Champ? I don't know, Moise. You're going to help me out, brother. Molina by sub. That's what I'm saying. I think if he can get the fight to the ground, it's a stronger place for him in this fight. But I'm not overly confident if he will get it. Yeah. Dr. Pepper Zero tastes like bleach. No. It tastes like Benylin. It tastes like medicine, like a medicine. And bro, I'm being a good boy, Moise. I need to cut down the pounds, my friend. I'm too many pounds at the moment, so at least it's psychological. I've had a treat, but it's the best I could do, brother. I'm 235 pounds. I need to get down. If I'm going to go back in again and compete at 185, I need to start dropping big time. I need to get like 20 pounds off me easy. So I'm really making a conscious kind of effort and note to make a difference. So, brother, please help me. Yeah, so that's my pick on that one. I'm going to go to the next fight, which is here you go, 155-pound division. We have Rong, who's the beast that you guys have all been mentioning, against Rodrigo Vargas. Now, like you say, he is a bit of a savage, this kid. He is a bit of a beast. I've been impressed by what I've seen on the tape. Let's see here. Boom. It's a UFC predictions contest, MMA Huddle. I'm not the champ yet. It's down to the last 5 players. Mr. Arkansas YouTube channel. Okay, I'll have a look at that, brother. I'll make a little. Let me make a little note of this, Mr. Okay, Arkansas. I'm going to make a note, and afterwards, when I'm waiting for a little bit of editing to get done, I'll jump on, have a little quick cheeky look. Try Pepsi Max Cherry. Yeah, bro. Cherry flavor's tasty. They just didn't have. I didn't want a can. I wanted a bottle, and they didn't have any bottles of it, so this is the only can they had. I'm always the biggest supporter financially of the channel. Rogue Strummer, I will check that out, my friend. And ladies and gentlemen, go subscribe if you haven't done. If you're watching this, go subscribe. I'm keen to support everyone in the MMA community, predictions, podcasts, whatever it is. Big time, big fan of it. I've been on this dude for, gosh, I've been doing this like 600 years, something now. But like I said, we just said before, we have Rong against Rodrigo Vargas in the 155 division. Man, I am with everyone. I'm kind of high on this Rong kid. Like, I can't believe he's had 20 bloody fights and he's 21. But the dude hits hard. He's got good hands. He's got a lot of experience for such a small amount of time. He's fought a mixture of guys with records, strong records as well, like 17-5. He's fought guys at 18-5, so much stronger than him. And he's came through. He's also lost, which is great. Because at a young age, it teaches him humility. He kind of can learn from that experience. He's been submitted. So that's the big thing. He's been submitted a couple of times. So you got to worry that maybe that's one of his Achilles heels. Now, it's about 3 years ago when it happened. So he's on a bit of a streak. But if you're a fighter and you're looking at him and you're looking for some kind of hole in the kid's game, you've got to look at the wrestling, the grappling. So instead, UFC very smart. They give him a guy who's lost 2 in a row already in the UFC. He lost against Brock Weaver with the illegal knee, which was, to be fair, a legal knee, and Alex de Silva. So they gave the perfect opponent to a guy who's come from Combate, who likes to fat. He's more of a gets on, if he's got a good top game. If he gets on top, he can throw some decent ground and pound. I found that his ground and pound is not too bad at all. But he's also a guy who, if he gets the fight to the ground, he probably won't go for the submission side of things, less likely to. So I think it kind of works well for Rong. But I think Zhu's going to be able to get the fight here on the feet and keep it on there. I think Rodrigo might have a difficult time getting to the mat. I like what this kid can do. The ceiling's high, 5'11" for 155. So he's got a good height on him, good reach, 72-inch. So he's got a good stats for the body and size that he is. So everything's there for him to make a good debut. I think the UFC kind of wanted to win this one. So you see fights like that. I'm kind of big on Zhu here. I think he's going to hurt Rodrigo. Decision win, because Rodrigo's shown he's tough, man. He takes some licks and he's not a pushover at all. So I think he can get that. I think he can get this 1-1. Let's go to the next fight. So let me quickly make a note. Again, if you're listening, you're new to the channel, you've never done this before, you've never been on here before, feel free to like the channel, but also hit the comments, join in, let us know what your picks are, what you're thinking. Love to know what your thoughts on the crowds being back in the stadium. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. 15,000 people. I don't know what it's like in America. I'm not from the US myself, so I don't know what the state of the COVID cases are in Florida or what it's like over there. But crowds going on, so it's happening. So like I said, next up we had in the 135 division, Danaa Batgerel against Kevin Natividad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Right? Why does Kevin not have his middle name? Is that a quicksand? Kevin Feliz Navidad. Wouldn't that just be the best bloody name? Oh, man. It just ruined it by going for quicksand. Anyway. So, Kevin. Dude is... Do you know what? A dude is hard, man, hard nose, comes forward, got good hard power in his hands, likes to stand and strike a bit. The Miles Johns fight got caught with an uppercut because he showed tendencies. If you watch the fight back, he showed a kind of habit and a tendency to get his head down and duck on certain things, and it was easy to read. Batgerel round 1 KO inside 60 seconds. Man, well, Danaa, the Connelly fight, solid stoppage there. Connelly definitely on his last kind of rodeo, was on his way out anyway. The Alateng fight, man, that was a fun one to watch. You know, those dudes beat 7 bells of shit out of each other. Let's be honest with you. That looked like a rough ride. I bet the pair of them woke up the next day with banging headaches. It was a great one to watch. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate sport, yeah, through Moyes, yeah. I'll do my best. I do think Liang is a possible dog. Love that. Feliz Navidad. But it would be great if he did it, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, I haven't seen the odds yet, so actually, I don't know what the odds are. If Liang is decent odds, you know, I would be agreeable with the dog kind of play here. Yeah, for me, Navidad, he can get hit a bit too much, you know, and that's one of the things. I thought that his tendencies were repetitive and they were readable. And I think that if you're smart enough, if you get your coaches and staffs, those uppercuts, all those kind of movements, you can absolutely hurt him. Then again, he has got good pop in his hands himself. I thought, you know, Danaa is going to do all right here. And I think he's going to be good in this fight. I think with Natividad, he needs to get the fight to the ground, try and wrestle a bit to maybe get the points, to get the decision on here. He himself has got some good KO finishes, good stoppage of his hands. I think we might see another bit of a banger, but I think Kevin's the one more vulnerable here to go down and get stopped. I'm with you as well, brother, I'm with you, Moyes, on the stoppage. I don't think first round, 60 seconds, but don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be surprised. Thomas, great to have you here, man. Yeah, right. Where the hell is Willie? I agree. Right, bro, his internet, he's got no Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi box has just gone boom. So he's having a bit of a hoo-ha at the moment with the company that he's getting his internet supplier off. And he's had no internet since mid last week. So no Wi-Fi or anything. So no Pornhub, no Netflix, Disney Plus, all that kind of stuff. He's having a bit of an issue with it. So hopefully he can get that sorted and come back as soon as. Losing to Alateng was bad luck, yeah. But I imagine Alateng looked better in that fight than it did versus Case Kenny. Alateng looked good in that scrap because the pair of them just went to and fro. They banged it out pretty hard, man. It was a good fight. Actually, you know, honestly, well worth watching. It was definitely if you do tape study, definitely watch it. Nimkov, Cortez, Whittaker, cash it. Yeah, fantastic, bro. That's great, man. Great that paid off, brother. That's a wicked one. Buzzing to see that one. And obviously, you won money on Jake Paul getting the KO as well. Anyway, it's bad for boxing. It is bad for boxing. And yeah, I'm going to go down on this one. I think he can get the stop. I think he maybe get a stoppage as well. I think he can either hurt Kevin a lot or he can definitely get the stoppage here, man. Yeah. It's not handy that his Wi-Fi is down, man. And it was good because I was looking forward to him coming on. We're going to obviously celebrate that his missus is pregnant. Great to have you with us, Thomas. You know, he's got a second one coming along, so it was exciting news. And, you know, I was looking for like a little celebratory thing with the pay-per-view, but it is what it is. I'm afraid, folks, you all got my mug for the whole time, not Big Willie Styles. Scottish wee voice ball. Aye. Kamuru Usman versus Alve Masvidal. Aye. And next up we have is another fight, obviously. Let's go through the card. Here we go. Great for boxing. He could bring a resurgence to the sport and he bangs in that ring. Well, he bangs against Ben Askren, who's got no head movement, no footwork, and took 500,000 pounds, just got hit, went down, went, I'm all right with this. I'll take $500,000. See you later, son. So, is he give a break? You know, Jake Paul, if you give him a half. If you gave him a guy who was a pro boxer who was 2-0, the guy would absolutely walk through him because the guy's all 2-0 will obviously have an amateur boxing background, will absolutely walk through him. Casey Kenny has been fed to the dogs. I don't like seeing youngsters fighters get padded records, but I don't like to see them get major damage early on. Like Sage Northcutt. Herb, Sage got pretty. It wasn't the tried to set him up with Sage. The UFC just fucked up big time. What they do is they see someone who's got marketability, who they can flaunt to the public, advertises their kind of guy or girl, Paige Van Zandt is a great example. And then what they do is they just throw them and they just try to get as much money out of that person as they can, make what they can out of that person. And they don't really think too much about the fighting, the progression of the fighter, their career. They just get what they can. It's a cash cow kind of thing. Get rid of. On to the next one. That's all they care about. And that is the UFC in a nutshell. And as we've seen with a lot of fighters over time, when they leave the UFC, they talk about it, they express what the actual ins and outs are. You do see it, and it's a shame. It's a shame to see, to be fair. I was going to do about next fight, wasn't I? I'm getting a little bit distracted there. Not a bad thing, no. We've got to go to the, which one is it next? 145 division. Tristan Connelly against Pat Sabatini. All right, partner. Tristan Connelly, I was impressed, man, about his performance, if I'm honest with you, about anything against Michel Ferreira. Like, dude performed absolutely solid in that fight. 170, the dude is going down now to 145. So the dude was massively outsized in that fight there, the weight class. He came in short notice, performed absolutely stellar, and now we get to see what he can do. I'm really looking forward to it, man, because Tristan as a whole, if you look at his fights like on Rise, Cage Sport, I think it was, as well as some other promotions that he's been on, the dude is a solid all-rounder. He's got great skills. Canadian dude. He's in his earlier career, he got losses. He's lost 6 fights, in his early career. Had a nice little resurgence. Lost to Shane Campbell, which is no shame in that one. But he's got submissions. He's got the hands as well. But now we've seen with the Pereira fight, the dude has got fight IQ. Can figure out how to win a fight against a guy who's a much larger guy. Nowadays, you just need a flashy highlight reel and a good personality, and you're a cash cow. It is very much so. Best example is Leon Edwards' brother, where he is not. He is not the guy. He hasn't got the flashy highlight reel. Hasn't really got the personality. Don't really know much about it. You don't hear about Leon Edwards, So it's a bit rough one. Pat by sub. It's a lock. Okay, Pat Sabatini. Okay, fair enough. Now, Pat as well loves a cheeky rear naked choke, and he beat Tony Gravely, who was obviously in the UFC now, back a few years ago, but he's got wind over him. And himself, he fought on CFFC. I always think CFC, but it's CFFC. He's been on that promotion for an extended period of time, and he's earned his stripes fighting a lot of the regional guys, guys with solid records, like pretty much a lot of them are plus records. He's done really well. He gets out there in the first or second round of his fights. He does great work in that. He lost to James Gonzalez. Oh, that was rough viewing. I don't know how many of you watched it. He fought James Gonzalez on CFFC. It was a takedown. Yeah, I think James went for a takedown. And he put his arm down, and oh man, I'm pretty sure it was that one, but it was. Oh no, it wasn't. He got his leg broken. It wasn't an arm injury. It was a leg break. He got his leg broke. It was rough. Blocked a kick, put his leg down, or threw a kick, put his leg down. It was gopping. Leon and Arnold Allen, the best prospects out of the UK right now. As much as I like Paddy and the female fighters, they're not going to be the fighters I can faithfully bet on each fight. Arnold is a stellar bet. I'm telling you now, great guy as well. What's happening? He's solid, good lad. I've known him for a while. He hadn't signed with the UFC when we were hanging out. I think it was. Well, had he signed? No, he did. I think he got signed to the UFC. And known him for a long time, though. Knew him from Cage Warriors days, and he's a great prospect. Super impressed that he got that Sadiq Yusuf win. That's going to put his stock through the roof. And Leon and Arnold are the two guys who are heading forward. Like even Darren Till, I can't put a lot of faith in him. I almost got like a kickback there, live, shot my nose. There's me coughing and spewing. That would have been epic, wouldn't it? Yeah, Pat's ferocious, really aggressive. I think it's a hard fight to call. I think Tristan's going to be deadly at 145 as much as Pat is. It's a hard one. I love the matchup. I think Tristan's got a great skill set. He's done great work as a fighter in his regional days, and so has Pat. I think for Pat to come back from that break, when he came back and got the win with the strikes, and then after that again got another win within the same year, that says a lot. That's a big thing, you know. I was really impressed with that. And he was meant to fight Bill Alguia, who's in the UFC now. Who knows? He might have actually beaten him in that fight. But Moyes, I'm kind of with you, brother. I think that Pat gets a sub as well next time you see him. Yeah, tell him I cashed in pretty good on him against Yusuf. Herb, I will do. Not a problem. I'm happy to do that, man. I'll drop him a ping him a little WhatsApp. I'll even do a little screenshot thing here, and I'll ping it over to him. But yeah, I'm on Pat's submission. I think between the two of them, I think Pat aggression that he has, it might kind of counter I don't want to say the calmness of Tristan, but I think it might kind of sway towards him, man. But I would not be shocked if Tristan got the submission. This one is not an easy pick. I'm not strong on the pick. I'm picking Pat. Yeah, the weight cut might be hard, but then again, like we say, he came in on that fight against Pereira, and it was short notice, 170. That might not have been a hard cut for him. He might have just been walking around 170 to 145, 25 pound. That's not a tough cut. You know, a lot of dudes walk around there like, you know, even guys walk about 190, you know, or 180. Some guys are crazy weights. Who do you think Jake Paul should fight next? Mahesh Pamf, I like the question, brother. I'll be honest with you. I think if he fought Tyron Woodley, I think it wouldn't be a bad one. Tyron, big dude, walks around like 190, and I think it would be good for Tyron Woodley as well. He's probably going to get cut by the UFC. Payday for him. He hits hard. I think he'd hurt Jake. I think Tyron Woodley, because he could just box, I think he might cause problems for him. Who else would I like this? If I was going to pick an MMA, I'm only going off MMA. I'm not picking any boxers. I don't even think they'd pick boxers for him because, like I said, they've got the amateur background. All the professional boxers you see, they've got extensive years of amateur boxing, which they would absolutely walk through the likes of Jake Paul. He wouldn't even get a sniff. I would like to see it be Francis Ngannou just to kill him. It'd be great to get rid of someone like Jake Paul, just knock his head off his shoulders like Mortal Kombat. That would be the best. But we won't see that. It's a slight difference in the weight, brother. So yeah, I'd go with maybe like a Tyron because he weighed in 190, didn't he? So someone like that would be okay. If Michael Bisping wanted to go again, I know his eyes sort of, but that'd be all right as well. His hands have lost a ton of power. He'd get put to sleep. Wow, you see, the arthritis in the hands thing, you can get away with it, Rogue, because with the boxing hand wraps, because I've done training I've done all the sports in that way. The hand wraps it's insane. It's like you've got cement wrapped around your hands. You can't move them an inch, so they're just so rigid, and your wrists are strong. Everything's rigid and built around, and you get the padding of the gloves. You can do so much more with boxing. Like I remember when I fractured a bone in my hand, getting ready for a fight, and still did the fight, but got to get just so I could punch. I had 16-ounce gloves and just a ton of wraps on, just to pad out and support it, and I was able to do a lot of the work because of the support I get from it. Yeah, but affects his weightlifting. When he's training, he can't get the gains exactly. He can't. I know he's a 10 rep fighter, isn't he? 10 reps and he's done. I know it's a bit, but I'm trying to think of who you could, because I think it could be him. You could have Bisping. I think Bisping would maybe do it. Be a bit of a cut for Bisping these days. He's not weighing what he used to be. Even Dan Hardy, you know. Dan Hardy would be a shout, maybe, if he's willing. If Jake's willing to cut Dan, you can maybe have Dan Hardy jump in there. Not Tia Ortiz would be a good one, or not Chuck Liddell. I think he's done these days. He looked like he had arthritis in his ears, never mind his bones. But yeah, that's a hard one to call. I don't even know where I was up to, guys. I'll be honest with you, I've got a bit stuck there. Go to the next fight. 34-47. There we go. Quickly make that down. Right. How bad's that? Brendan Allen, right, is taking on Karl Roberson now. Let's see here. He challenged Daniel Cormier. Did you hear that? Yeah, I did. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Daniel Cormier is like 40, 50 pounds heavier. Daniel Cormier is a lot bigger now than he was in his fighting when he was fighting, you know, so he's at least 240 now. Daniel Cormier, I don't get it. And Daniel Cormier, dude's got a chin. He can crack. He's got good speed. And it'd be a hard one to do because he's just so stocky. You'd just be able to get in there and dirty box, man. Moyes, good. Brendan by sub. Boom, powering in there. Big five Brendan is, I liked him before he got starched by Strickland. I was big on Brendan as well, guys and girls. I like Brendan Allen as a fighter. I think he's got a wicked little skill set. I think he's tenacious. I think he's got a lot about him as well. He lost a grappling bout as well after the Strickland fight, but it doesn't matter so much in those. I think those guys, a lot of the guys do them for activity. It's more than anything, a little bit of money if they get paid to do it. But if you look at what he can do, Brendan, he's powerful, he's fast. I just don't know why he bothered to stand with Strickland. Strickland doesn't get Strickland to the ground. It's a far easier opponent. You're fighting Karl Roberson, who isn't the best with the grappling, let's say. I know we beat Kopylov with rear naked choke, but I wasn't overly blown away by that, but Lover Teixeira lost submission there. Cesar Ferreira lost submission there. Vittori submission there. There is a hole in Karl's game. He likes to kickbox, and that's his thing. I would have loved to see Karl Roberson against Makhmud Muradov. That would have been a wicked little fight, and I think Karl would have had a tough time in it, but I've got to go Brendan here, guys. I think the takedowns are there for Brendan. I think he can get the submissions as well. Kevin Costner, mate, thank you very much for Waterworld. Brilliant film. Great to have you on the podcast. Alan all day with that one. I'm with Alan too, guys. Honestly, he sounds good to me, Moyes. Yeah, I am. Honestly, he's hard. He's tough. He's tenacious. He got hurt, and he just got outclassed in that when he should have just stuck to what he knows best. I wouldn't bet Alan here. If I'm going to bet on Alan, he could. Yeah, he could get put out again. He could. But I don't think he will. I think Karl's going to have a tough time putting him out because I think he's going to be wrestling a lot of time. I think Brendan just knows that. It's a silly thing to do. If you're going to fight certain opponents, you can afford to strike with them to get your confidence up, to get used a bit more to the in-fight striking, which is different than training. But pick your fights. Be smart. Damian Maia didn't sit there and go, I'm going to develop my striking game a little bit here in this fight. Nah. He just did what he did well. He just went, I'm going to grab you. I'm going to get you down to the ground. And that's it. Because you knew that if you wanted to fight him, you have to throw a punch that lands. And if you can land, it means he can get to you. And that's all he cared about. And that's what you got to do here. NBC, good to have you on, man. Can we just acknowledge how terrible Hassan this weekend, killed a few parties. Mate, I said as well, he should retire. Shouldn't put the gloves on again. I don't know what the hell is going on with that kid. He's a judoka, black belt, high level. And he's getting taken down by Jacob Malkoun. I wouldn't step out my front door again. I wouldn't even acknowledge who I am. It's an absolute joke. Absolute joke. He's a shambles of the man he used to be. Whatever happened with that accusations and court case and whatever the hell is going on, I don't understand how you then forget how to do what you've been training for all your life. I understand you had a rough time mentally for a couple of years, mate. But it doesn't mean you forget how to bloody fight against a bum in Jacob Malkoun. Now Jacob Malkoun thinks he's good and he thinks he can win. It's terrible. Honestly, Jacob Malkoun has a win in the UFC. That just doesn't sound right. There is hope for everyone to get a win in the UFC. Everyone. Absolutely shocking it is. But anyway, back to the fight. Yeah, I've got Brendan Allen. I think get a submission win. I think Karl's going to have a rough time even trying to even get involved in this fight. Just rough. Yeah, I felt incredibly stupid while watching. It's rough, man. I think Razak's mind is, full of hatred and depression from them fake rape. But it is, mate. His head is not... I know he said it after the first time he had that, when he came back after the first loss, said things weren't right, etc. Or the second one, I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been the second one. Wrote the post about it. But man, if you're not right, don't come back. Just hang him up and walk away. Just, if you can't, don't bother, man. Like, he's nowhere near the ferocious killer he was. Mate, I don't know about if he looked improved, because Al Hassan just looked so awful. Mate, if you're a judoka, you've got the hips and the explosive movement to get those takedowns yourself, reverse stuff, all of it. I've had the pleasure, I've been lucky my life. I've grappled and did a bit of judo with a gentleman who was literally on the literally that far away from getting the Olympics. He got pierced night before the Olympic trials, but these things happened, didn't get in. But anyway, he was that close. He's a high level black belt judoka, and he is majestic. I can't, like, the dude's massive. He's like 103 kilos and that. The dude is smooth like butter. His feet, footwork, he's so quick and agile. It's insane for a guy that size. So Al Hassan would be the exact same. As soon as you can get the wrist or the arm, you're just gone. I thought I was going to bang into Mary Poppins. I was flying that high sometimes. It blows my mind how he just forgot how did you do judo. I just don't get it. Malkunse down entries were horrible, and uppercut KO incoming. Oh, he's getting knocked out. No matter what he's doing next, he's getting murdered. And I can't wait to see it, because he should not be in the UFC. And Al Hassan should not be in the UFC. Next fight. Going to go to Dwight Grant against Stefan. Here we go. I'm going to sell it. Sekulić. Okay, Sekulić. Either or. Dwight Grant, there's question marks over Dwight Grant. I think he's got some good abilities, he's got good attributes about him, where the Alan Jouban fight, good war. He did well in that fight. He did some good striking, but it's Alan Jouban. For me, Alan Jouban's not even a gatekeeper. Alan Jouban's he's like a really low-ranked welterweight for me. I don't think much about Alan Jouban. I think he's just a brawler, and there's many ways to beat him. I'll have to rewatch it sometime. You guys saw something I missed. So yeah, it's one of those ones where Dwight Grant, he showed a poor fight IQ as well. I think that's another big kind of red flag. Hurt Daniel Rodriguez, because he can hurt dudes. He's got good pop in his hands, but when he hurt him, he just shot everything out of the tank. He lost everything out of the tank in that. And when Daniel Rodriguez stood up and went, okay, I'm all right now. I was all good. You just saw Dwight Grant's soul just drop out of him. He went, I can't even lift my arms, mate. Tried to circle away, tried to even stand up, and he was just gassed, just absolutely gassed in that fight. He's fighting a guy who fought Ramadan Amy for his first UFC fight, which is a fucking rough fight for Stefan. Like, kudos to him. I thought he did all right in that fight. If you look in the Serbian Battle Championships on the regional scene, the fights that he had there, you can get a better understanding of him as a fighter. But man, Amiv is a tough dude to go against. Like, in fact, I feel bad that he had to fight someone like that as his entry to the UFC. But it's also it's 3 years ago as well. So that's another thing that kind of threw me off. I can't remember if Stefan got banned or whatever it was. But either way, Stefan's got a lot to do here in a fight that he's not fought for a while. Muay Thai 2-3. Yeah, lads, I'd eat the peanuts and the sweet corn out of Amanda Ribas. Peep. Yeah, Amanda Ribas is my babes. Well, if she's your girlfriend, you're very lucky. She's a lovely lady. I'm glad to see you, you crazy Joe Rogan. And look, with Stefan, he's had 3 years out was a big deal in the fight game. Coming against someone like Dwight Grant, I'm kind of thinking it's not too bad. It's not too bad of a fight. He just has to mind his P's and Q's with Dwight Grant. And can he avoid those punches? it's a tough one because he hits hard, Dwight, and if he lands, he can hurt you big time. I think for me, if I'm Stefan, I'm going to try and get the fight to the ground, get some grappling involved, and I'm going to try and get submissions going. I'm going to go favor towards Dwight Grant in this fight. And the reason why I'm picking over towards Dwight Grant, I just simply feel that with a 3-year absence, it's not an easy one, you know. Round 1 KO for Grant, boys. Going strong with the KOs, brother. I just feel like you say 3 years out, Dwight Grant's surprisingly quite fast with his strikes. Sometimes when the way he extends his punches out, he can catch guys out with the distance that he covers. I'm not overconfident on Stefan getting the W or even doing well for the 3 rounds. If it goes 3 rounds, I think Stefan might find a bit of difficulty with the gas tankers himself, just because he's been out for so long. Depends on what the pace of the fight is, how fast it goes. With the crowd there, energy going, you might get going through there pretty well. But I think Dwight's got a good chance here to get a W. I really do. So I'm going towards Dwight Grant on that one there. We have another fight. Let me quickly just do this one. There. It is Randy Brown versus Alex Oliveira. I'm liking it. Cowboy is back against Randy Brown. Now, Randy Brown's a bit of a weird one for me because he's an average fighter for me. There's nothing about that I think I've been blown away by. Brian Barberena is the kind of guy you should beat. Brian Barberena. He's beatable. He's hittable. He just kind of outlasts you. And if you haven't got a good gas tank, he'll beat you. It's one of those ones. Wally Alves, dude has been a shell of himself for the past few years. I don't know what's been going on with that kid. Like, he's not been good at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he hasn't performed the way he used to. But I'm not been impressed with Wally Alves at all. And since, a few years now, he's hit and miss. I'm not overly confident on him. I know we got the win against Lazare, which blew my mind. But, man, Randy Brown, he lost to Vicente Luque, which was bound to happen. I think Luque's levels above Randy Brown. I don't even think that fight should have happened. He had the weirdest Nico Price knockout, like hammer fist to his foot. I don't get it. Belal Muhammad, levels above him. Shouldn't have even been the same cage. Then you had Mickey Gall, simple enough win. Brian Barberena and Alves, like I say, that not overly keen on Randy Brown's skill set. Randy Brown by sub, long fish, pole arms, gets chokes in. It does get chokes in, but if Oliveira goes for the takedowns, he sets himself up for guillotines a little bit. He puts himself out there, risk. If I'm Oliveira, I don't know why I'm bothering going for takedowns. I think he's got the ability to be able to handle himself on the feet and strike this fight out. I think it can hurt Randy Brown. I think the Peter Sabota fight, I thought he performed really well in that fight. Sabota is no pushover and no joke. Max Griffin, tough guy to fight, tough guy to beat. Danaa post on Randy Brown. I think if you looked at like kind of tiered welterweight division, Randy Brown would be on the lower. I think Alex Oliveira is in the middle, and then you got your upper kind of tier. I just don't see Randy Brown having that about him to really get this win. I'm just not sure what he's going to do. The guillotine chokes is there, but I don't think he'll get it. I just don't think Alex Oliveira... Depends what Oliveira you get as well, because you can turn up and absolutely perform and put a showcase on, or you can give the Shavkat submission away. There's many things that can happen in a fight, which is a tough one. Definitely raging. Great to see a Brazilian cowboy is looking so fragile these days. Managed to get hurt somehow in every fight. Dude he just gets the textbook on how to fight and just goes, fuck it, and just goes out there. And what I kind of like about Alex Oliveira is he will mix it up, though. He'll stand and bang. He'll go for takedowns. He'll do it all, Shavkat is very legit, bro. I agree he is. But I just felt that guillotine there was avoidable. I feel like he did have to put himself in that position to get that guillotine put onto him. But yeah, I'm kind of going to go Cowboy. I think kind of combination of things where I know we don't know what Cowboy's going to rock up, but I think he's got the kind of experience. I think he's got decent enough striking to hold his own against Randy Brown. I think if he wants to go for takedowns, he can cause Randy Brown problems. I probably could maybe do that as well. If it was me, I'd probably try to get the kid down and start to ground a pound on the cage. But I'm probably going to sway towards Cowboy here. Oliveira, I think he can do it. I think he can get a W. I just hope that Oliveira, who wins, turns up for me, because if he doesn't, he's a shithouse. Moyes, Randy Brown might be my banker bet. Okay, like it. Still have to search it more. Do you know what, Rogues? I'll be honest with you. It depends on what Oliveira you get in. If you get the Oliveira that's on point, Randy shouldn't get close to him. But if he's off and he's not performing, he can 100% have a rough day on this one. Has 8 wives, lots of energy wasted every night. Yeah, good point. How do you fit 8 in a week, though? There's no rotation. You need to do 6 and you get somebody off, recovery, or, but 8, someone's missing out. Next up, we have in the 205 division. Super interesting fight, this one, guys and girls. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on this one, because it's potential big shout for Jimmy Crute taking on Anthony Smith. So Jimmy Crute can get the W. He shoots himself up in that division. Gets people talking, gets those big name fights. Anthony Smith is the first one for him. I think he's done absolutely superb so far. He only fell short against Misha Serkinov, who is definitely the stronger grappler between the two of them. And he got the Peruvian necktie, proved it, kind of evidence that went, look, you're still learning, kid. Nice try, come back again. I think Jimmy Crute, if he stayed standing against Misha Serkinov, I think he would have had a far more greater result in that fight. Anthony Smith, tough one. It is a tough one with Anthony Smith. Devin Clark, triangle submission. I thought Devin Clark was poor to get that submission put on him as well. He kind of stayed in the guard, made a simple mistake and got caught. But if you look, Anthony Smith recently, he's not done too great. He got the Rakitic lost. He got lost to Glover Teixeira. Beat Gus. Now Gus again tried to come back. Weirdly unretired. Got stopped. Retired. It is what it is. Wasn't doing great at the start of the fight. Then John Jones, John Jones wins. But as a whole, you got to look at what Anthony Smith is bringing to the table. Not overly confident what he can bring nowadays. I think that he got a good little run to get to 205 championship, but that was certainly when the 205 division looked empty. It needed new blood. He stepped up. Thiago Santos stepped. Handful of people jumped along. 205 division got a little revision, and suddenly you had a few names. He was a name that just kind of got the wins needed to get him to that. Crute's my favorite parlay piece this week. I like it. Crute Shevchenko parlay. Ooh, minus 115. I like it. Crute will take it. Kevin Costner as well there, ticking in. Thomas at the same play. Ooh, nice. I like that you guys are working on that same parlay. I kind of go with everyone here. The Jimmy Crute train, man. I think he's got decent enough hands. He's got good pop in his hands. He can get takedowns. Anthony Smith has not been the greatest takedown defense. Jimmy Crute, by KO on the feet, he will avoid Jimmy Smith's ground game. Jimmy Smith's got okay ground game. Anthony Smith, he's got good ground game. I think Jimmy Crute has got good ground game himself. I think you might see him cancel Travad, but I think with the Jimmy Crute has definitely got more pop in his hands. 100% has. Anthony Smith, you can maybe try to drag him into the second, third round. But Crute, if he just avoids those front kicks that Anthony Smith likes to use to get that range and try to catch the body and stuff, if he can defend those, catch them, whatever he needs to do, get reversals on the kicks, I think that'll help him out a lot more. He just has to be careful with the range and just be smart. Yeah, Crute stand-up looked great last time out. Smith is being fed to the young Lions. Mate, it needs to be done. I think, you'll see Anthony Smith on a desk now, the work. Anthony Smith is only 32. Don't forget that. I know he's had like 50 fights, which is crazy, but he's at that point where he's on the desk doing the work, 1 foot out, got the career there for that. He can just jump straight to it if he stopped fighting. It's all there. So it's a tough one for him, man. I'm going to go with it. I'm going on the Jimmy Crute train. I think he can get a stoppage. I think he gets the win. We see a nice young buck jumping into that 205 division in the upper echelon. Loving it. You might even see him match up with Serkinov. You never know. Next up, we have an 185-pound division now. This isn't a changing of the guard at all. You actually have two old heads, Uriah Hall and Chris Weidman, which is a bit of a rough one. Which just makes himself a job. He's on the mic. He's on the mic behind it on the microphone. He does the commentary, not the commentary. He does like the telecast, where they have like the Karen Bryant and Rashad Evans and Kenny Florian. He's on the desk. He's on the desk. That's the word. He's on the desk. He does that kind of stuff, analysis stuff. Smith is the oldest 32 I've ever seen. It's weird. He's 32. The dude is younger than me. I can't get my head around it. The dude feels like it's just weird. It's just weird. Like I said, though, 185-pound division. Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. It's a weird one, this, because I don't care who wins. Uriah Hall got his, like, I don't even want to call it a career highlight beating Anderson Silva last year. Like he beat Anderson Silva in the 4th round. Anderson Silva was 45 years old, I think he was in that fight. That's not an accomplishment. Get out the door. Get fucked beating someone like that. That I don't care. And not bothered. Now the Antonio Carlos Jr. fight, he got a split decision, and it was weird because he just got owned on the ground. Like, owned on the ground. I don't get it. Bevan Lewis, fair enough, got a win there, but you look at Uriah Hall, he likes to strike on the ground. He can't stand the ground. He does not do well on the ground. He's not the best. Ooh, whoopsies. Sorry about folks, just cracked the laptop there. Chris Weidman, Aori got the win there, decision. Needed that big time. Man, it's weird. Chris Weidman kind of loses these fights and pulls out a little win here and there to keep himself, not relevant, but keeps himself in the UFC books. He's got to get a win, and he's got to go for takedowns. You cannot. If you're Chris Weidman, do not even think for a second you should be standing with Uriah Hall, who's got lightning fast jabs, decent footwork, good fast pace to him. You cannot stand near him. Chris Weidman needs to shoot. I'll be, if he stands up and tries to stand and bang with him, I'll be infuriated because he'll get hurt and he'll lose. The best weight class for Weidman is 185. His best days are behind him as well. I think Uriah Hall is kind of in that position. I don't think he won the junior fight. I think he lost that one. If you look at that, he beat Anderson Silva, who cares? He was meant to fight Jacare and Yoel Romero was meant to fight Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall would have got murdered by Yoel Romero. Jacare, I reckon he would have had a good time with him as well. I think Jacare could have got him down. It could have hurt him as well. I don't know, man. Like, Uriah Hall has moments where he does well, where he does like sweet little spinny back stuff, or kicks here and there, and it looks good. But I don't know. I can't trust either of them because they're both annoyingly awful at that stage. Man, Chris can hold him down for 2 rounds. Yeah, third will get scarier if you're on Chris. That is it, mate. If you can get him down, you're all right. And Uriah Hall's awful with the takedown defense, getting up off the ground. He's terrible with it. I don't have faith in either of these guys. I have no faith in my pick. I'm going to go Chris Weidman with a boring decision of wrestling because that's what he has to do to win. If he's stupid in strikes, he deserves to lose and get sparked out and retire or leave the UFC and go and fight in PFL or Bellator. But no, just no. Next up, we have the first of our 3 championship fights. These are the big ones. These are the big fights. This is a trilogy card. It's all going down. Valentina Shevchenko gets Jéssica Andrade. Man, I'm looking forward to see what goes down here. I see Hall takes this. Yeah, not because he's great, but only because I have no faith in Chris' durability. I've got no faith in. That's the thing. Get past the first round. Uriah Hall's got no cardio. He's easy to pick off. It's hard, man. It's hard. They're both. I don't care about either of it. Neither of these guys are ever getting near that 185 title strap. They shouldn't be fighting each other. They should be fighting younger guns as gatekeepers, kind of thing. That's what they should be. Kelvin Gastelum, Uriah Hall rematch. Want to see it. Valentina Shevchenko, Jéssica Andrade. I've got to be honest, it's kind of short breakdown. I don't see Valentina Shevchenko losing for a long time. That girl is too good, too slick, too sharp. Footwork, foot distance management, striking combinations, her grappling and submission options that she has. There is nothing that she has that isn't available to her. She's strong as well. I know Jéssica Andrade bullies a lot of the girls. Valentina's not a weak girl. She handled Amanda Nunes with the grappling aspects, didn't have too many problems in that aspect. She's a strong fighter, and she can hold her own to Holly Holm, Juliana Pena. She can do what she needs to at 125. Jéssica Andrade, she got the win against Caitlin Kukin. She got the body shot. I want to say it was a right hook to the solar plexus. I'm pretty sure she got the solar plexus, hurt the body, ran at her, caught the body again, and that was Caitlin done. I was buzzing that Jéssica beat Caitlin. I'm not going to lie. I was so happy because I can't stand Caitlin tennis player Kukin. It does my head in. Valentina by decision, low volume kickboxing match. That's what it is, mate. She is just going to do a combination of strikes, footwork in and out. Jessica's going to be punching thin air and missing a lot of the shots. You know, it's going to be a rough day for her. It really is. And I just feel that Shevchenko's got definitely the skill set to beat her in any way she wants to. If she wanted to get her to the ground and submit her, I wouldn't put that in the realms of possibility. If Jéssica stays at 125, I think she'll be like a great number 2 in that division. I think she'll be a hard fight for a lot of the girls. And it might be the more comfortable weight for her, rather than go down to 115 all the time. I don't know. I don't know if she went for this 125 fight kind of run just as a little experiment. I don't know. But I'm picking Valentina Shevchenko. It's probably the easiest out of the 3 picks, to be brutally honest with you. I just think she's phenomenally talented, insanely high level. And I'm just absolutely jacked to see what she can do. I think she's just wicked to watch. So I'm going to go Valentina Shevchenko because I love seeing the dominance, like a John Jones, even Ronda Rousey back then, GSPs. I like to see a champion if they can hold it for a while to see what they can do against the fresh new faces, not necessarily like Cain Velasquez, JDS, where it was a trilogy. I like to see new challenges. It's good to see what happens, keeping them sharp, keeping them honest. I'm pumped for it. Our second fight of the championship bout is after the Valentina Shevchenko fight, which we have Weili Zhang against Rose Namajunas at the 115 division. I'm going to quickly make that little note here. 1, 2, we'll go there. Wonderful. That'll do me. Man, Rose is talking a lot of smack. Now, whether that's to kind of rile up Weili Zhang, getting ahead a little bit, I don't know. It could be. It might not be. But definitely smack talking this. Rose had the split decision against Joanna Jacek, which was a good, fun fight. I enjoyed it. That was a good bout. Obviously, the Jéssica Andrade win was a huge one that she got as well. So, Weili Zhang, the Joanna Jacek fight. Great fight. Loved it. Like I say, Weili Zhang caught Jéssica Andrade out with that burst in that first round. But the Joanna fight was a huge one for me. They beat the snot out of each other. Rose is dumb as fuck. Mate, I don't get it. They're managed by the same eight. They're the same manager. I don't get it. Like, if you're a manager, you're like, just smack talk, but be smart if you smack talk. Mate. But I don't know if she has that ability to beat. Rose isn't quite that smack talk. She doesn't have it in her. Either way, Rose is an absolute monster herself in her own right, so I'm not going to take anything away from her. But in that Weili fight against Joanna Jacek, her output was less than Joanna's. She lost, she won the fight, but she did have a greater reduction in striking than Joanna Jacek. She is open to leg kicks, but it didn't stop her. Her toughness was putting her through. She was hard as nails in that fight, and she just blew everyone away with one of the fights of the year, to be honest with you. Whereas with Rose, the win against Jéssica Andrade was a fun win. She lost that first time against the Slam, which is something to take into consideration. Maybe Weili might try to wrestle, but I don't think she will. I think if you're Weili, you want to stay away from the grappling aspect of Rose because she is good at the submission takes. She's good at getting it back. She's good at kind of controlling girls in that way. But when I look at like what Rose has done as well, the Joanna fights where she lost. So she won the first one fair and square, put her on her ass, got the win. Then she beat her again. I was impressed by that. I'm curious about what's going to go on with Joanna. I'd love to see Joanna Jéssica get back again to her old self, but we'll see what's going on. Tatiana Suarez, by the way, is still on that radar, and if she's fit, she's going to come back and tear things up. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot of love in this fight for people talking about the fight. I think it can be a war. I think you might see another banger where the girl's getting busted up pretty bad and it goes 5 rounds. I'm going on a 5-rounder here. I think Weili Zhang will win again. I think the power that she has, I think she definitely cracks harder than Rose over a consistent period of time. Like in the Joanna fight, she just hurt Joanna so hard with the hits and striking. She just didn't stop. It was relentless power. It's a hell of a fight, though. I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, Rose seems to fatigue by the 3rd round. Weili, round 5 KO. I'm kind of swinging toward Weili Zhang just because of that terrifying power that doesn't stop. It's hard work. Like Weili Zhang against Tatiana Suarez, I'm telling you right now, that'll be one of the best fights you'll see for a long time. Insanely high-level wrestler against a girl who's a very strong striker in her own right. Absolutely jacked for it. So far, they're all staying at home, the belts. They're not going to anyone new. I'd like to see what everyone's going to pick on this next one. You have the rematch of Jorge Masvidal against Kamaru Usman. Jorge Masvidal stepped in like super short notice and took on Kamaru Usman, in which dominant performance, stopped it, won it, fair and square, got the W. Decision win. Masvidal wasn't really in the fight. Didn't stop the takedowns too much. Maybe conserving energy for opportunities to strike. But Usman then had got the fight with Gilbert Burns, who was meant to fight. Got the win there. Round nice striking, 3rd round stoppage. Man, I've got to be honest, guys. I'm with you, Moise. I don't get the rematch. I don't understand it. I don't know if they're playing out the welterweight division, trying to have this fight happen in the welterweight division and then have other fights in the background to set things up. I think they could have went straight to Leon Edwards. I don't think people could have argued about going straight to Leon Edwards to fight this fight. It blows my head. But they are all about dollar bills. With Jorge Masvidal's kind of Latina, Cuban relations in Florida, it's a good one, PR-wise. But I still don't get it. Short notice is not that big of a deal. It's a terrible start matchup for Masvidal. It is, because let's not forget, Kamaru Usman can crack. He can throw his hands. He's a tough out. He's got a tough chin. He's got insane cardio, grappling monster. Jorge Masvidal's got to figure a way to do not what, because Ben Askren was different than Masvidal. I'm sure that they'll have an ATT will have worked on something with Masvidal for the Usman fight. But I'm still adamant I don't see someone beating Usman for a while. Usman is one of the best out there. He's a phenomenal fighter. And I don't know too much that would change, man. I just don't know what we're going to see so different. I don't know what. I just can't see Usman losing the fight, man. He's too strong. He's got. What's he got that's weak? What is there about weak? What weakness has he got, man? What, he's not as quick striking maybe as Usman, as Masvidal? Maybe not good as boxing as Masvidal? Fair enough. That's not a problem. but he can counter that with other skills that he has, man. And I feel that Masvidal sometimes is a bit blasé in the fights. He lets fights get away from him, and he's done it in the past, and he did it again when he fought. And I feel like he could do it, man. What do you think of a parlay on all the champs? I think it's pretty safe, man. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm kind of solid that I'm kind of confident. That you'll see this going on. I just don't. I don't see much changing. I just don't get it. I feel that you will see this strong win for this for Usman and Masvidal. He'll just have a couple of random weird big fights. Like he might fight Nick Diaz, maybe. Maybe he might do something like Nick Diaz. Might be a fun one. I'm not opposed to Nick Diaz fighting him. I think that might be a fun one to watch. But skill-wise, I'm just stuck, man. What on earth are we going to see? It's different. Someone tell me what's going to happen. What is Masvidal going to do to change our minds? He got dominated in the last one. I see him getting dominated again. I understand the UFC are making the most they can out of Jorge Masvidal at the moment because he's just on a little tear. He's on the right PR spin with the resurrection stuff. It works well, but I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just feel it's going to be an easy kind of betting there for everyone. So what we'll do is we're going to go to the betting lines. I'm just going to see what betting lines we've got at the moment. I've not even seen them yet. I've not even put anything down myself. Let's have a look at Liang against Carnelossi. Yeah, see, Carnelossi minus 200, Liang plus 175. Hence why you guys mentioned before about her being a good dog bet. Plus 175, good money. Danaa is minus 170. Feliz Natividad is plus 150. Let's go. You've got Qileng against Molina. You got minus 120, minus 110. So you pretty much got to pick him there. So that's pretty good. I kind of think Jeff will have a tough time, but it's going to be interesting to see. Look at that. Rong is minus 250 and Vargas plus 200. Everyone on that Zoo train. Boop, boop. You've got Brendan Allen, who's minus 130 against Roberson, who's plus 110. Solid there for Allen. You know what? Some good straight bets here as well as parlays. Dwight Grant, minus 240 against Stefan Sekulić, yeah, plus 180. I think it's a bit high, but still take those odds. Randy Brown, minus 150. Alex Oliveira, plus 130 again. Because you don't know what Oliveira is going to get, it's not bad dog money at all for that. Tristan Connelly, plus 185. Sabatini, minus 230. That's pretty big golf there. I'm pretty surprised they've done that. I think it's a lot closer than people will think. Because I just think Connelly's a tough dude. And he's got good skills in his own right. Anthony Smith, plus 160. Crute, minus 200. That's a big gap there. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a gap, but kudos on that one. Then you've got Chris Weidman, who's minus 110. Uriah Hall, minus 110. Another pick 'em. Who wants to pick either one of them? I'd steer clear of that. I couldn't imagine putting any money on that fight. Jéssica Andrade, plus 300. Shevchenko, minus 400. I can accept that. Rose is plus 170. And Zhang is minus 200. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Masvidal plus 300 and Usman minus 400. Minus 400, minus 400, minus 200. I don't know what kind of plus money you'd get. I don't know if you get plus money on those odds, but I'd definitely go for all champs if I'm going to pick. Those are the odds. There's some good parlays out there, guys. Honestly, the odds aren't too bad on those. Not the main event, but on the cards. Not on the title fight, sorry, but the other fights. Definitely some parlays. Love to know what parlays you're all going for. Once again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. As always, you've been fantastic. You've been amazing. Thank you for joining the conversation. Give me your feedback on your fights and picks. I want you all to love each other, support each other, enjoy the fight game, enjoy your health, enjoy your family and friends and loved ones, and take care. I'll be back soon. I know that Will be back when he can get his freaking internet back up, because the internet's a pain in the arse because it's cut out. But it is what it is. When life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. But we have Reyes versus Prochniak, which is May 1st. which is the week after. So look forward to that. Yeah, parlay, Crute and Arnold. Yeah, Alan. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Kevin, that's a solid one. If you get good odds, jump on it, my friend. So from me, I love you all. Take care. Look after yourselves.